Maybe I should have had this recording before we started the Discord sync. I was kind of waiting for the all right, go ahead, start recording, and then do the Discord sync. All right, maybe we should start the Discord sync.
Are you recording everything now?
Yes, audio is going, and video is also going. So yeah. Let's maybe restart that.
Jesus, man. Welcome back, everybody, to V Time again, episode 236. It's been a while.
Hi.
A couple of things happened for anybody that clicked on the video for update reasons. I was sick. We are getting Korokoro, so there's been a break. Don't worry. There's going to be like 7 or 8 videos that are just going to flood in the next coming days.
Yeah, we recorded quite a few within that span of a week. And it kind of worked out perfectly. Filmed all of those, and then Korokoro just kind of shows up. We don't really care, so we get a little break. You get a break specifically.
So, I got an unintentional break. My body said, "You rest now, otherwise."
Yeah, exactly.
But those videos are going to come out, and by the time those videos come out, we should start seeing either set 6 or whatever comes after that. Speaking of Korokoro, on that topic, no, we will not be covering any Korokoro. Some of the cards do look very interesting and fascinating, but until we get actual confirmation that we're getting anything in English, we're not going to cover it. We're not going to do proxy play of it. We're not going to make proxies of it, because it's basically a type of monster strike. We don't know if we're even going to get it.
Oh, God. Yeah, I totally forgot about Monster Strike.
Yeah. It's easy for us to forget about Monster Strike when it plagued Japan for the longest time.
Yeah. It was running rampant on there for a while. A good while, actually.
It got put on the ban list twice. That's how bad it was.
Yeah. Well, since they also got their own personal set, didn't they?
2.
Oh, okay. So, yeah, it's unclear to know if we're going to get the Korokoro because it's its own set, so yeah.
I will say before we start with the leaks that we missed in the sense of big news and other stuff that we're going to cover this episode, I am a little bit scared of us potentially not getting Korokoro because we're getting approximately 5/6 decks inside of Korokoro, all of which are looking to be a very decent strength and meta viable, which means it's going to shape Japan's meta a certain way, which some decks are going to be played, why other decks are not going to be played, what can handle this, what can't handle that, which means on this English side, where we might not get Korokoro, the meta at the time of certain set releases can be completely different.
I mean, it's the same thing that happened with Monster Strike when it was, running rampant. The meta, we kept seeing the top meta was Monster Strike. We're like, oh, that's not going to happen in English.
Which brings me to my second concern of them making new products that are capable of fighting against these collapsed strong products. But if those products are capable of fighting against these strong collabs, on the English side, whenever we do get those products, they're going to be outclassing everything.
That is true. As far as I can remember, we've never had a set where it was only English, do we?
Closest thing we got was Ragnarok.
Oh, true. Technically that's a collab
Ragnarok
thing.
was not just English, it was also both, but it was simultaneous release English and JP.
Yeah, but it didn't do much.
No.
Hey, yes, package for Mr. Top Deck Heroes.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks. Mr. Top Deck Heroes? Mr. Top Deck Heroes, package. Man, another one? What is with this guy? Mr. Top Deck Heroes, again.
Oh, Melody again.
Mr. Top Deck Heroes, your
Oh,
package.
yes.
Oh, God, thank you, that was heavy. What's in that one?
Oh, trading cards.
Cards. Was every one of them cards?
Yeah.
How can you afford that?
Oh, that's interesting you say that. I got it from this place called
Secret.
Man, these people are crazy.
It's no secret. 50 cards. Use code TDHeroes for a discount.
Anyway, with all that being said, let's go straight into it. Now, this has been a long time. Most of you already know it. We're just going to cover it real quick and give our 2 cents on it and then move on. We already know Varga got a new form, Raziel got a new form, and they've gotten some interesting buffs and stuff like that. And one of the keywords that Varga got was what exactly?
Malworm.
I forget. Do you like Varga or Raziel more?
In this sense, I kind of like more the edgy boy Varga more than Raziel, but I do like Raziel.
Well then, Hector, I'll let you cover Varga and its supports.
Gucci. For this first one, it's Fiend Beast Ushi Onomaru, which it kind of figures out the name is Ushi. If I'm not mistaken, Ushi is like some kind of spider demon, and then Oni is obviously a demon or something. I don't know. Anyways, it's a grade 2, normal grade 2 everything. Its skill is auto. When this unit is retired by the ability of your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Varga in its card name, choose one of your units and it gets power plus 5k into the end of the turn. If your Vanguard is in the Malworm state, it gets power plus 10k instead of 5k. So
I mean, not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It does what it's supposed to do. Give something 10k. But the main thing is it has the Malworm state tied in ability.
I like the fact that it does say choose one of your units. It doesn't have to be specifically the Vanguard. So it can either be the grade 3 that can't get retired that stays in the front row. It can be a booster that we're going to talk about that's going to reappear. Or honestly, if you combo it correctly, since it gets the front row gets retired simultaneously, you call the grade 2 that calls itself back when retired to board, gains 10k power, and then you use this to give it even more power.
I mean, do I see people running it? Probably not. Is it a tech option if you got no other choice and cards expensive? Have at it.
Exactly. Yes. Speaking of something that's going to be tech options, it's definitely going to be inside of the fucking deck.
Oh, yeah. And it's already a lot of, I won't say controversy, but a lot of debate between this one and then the personal booster that we have now. But this one is the grade 1 called Storm Slasher Dragon. Now this skill, it says auto, when this unit is retired from rearguard by the ability of your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Varga in his card name, you may call this card to the back row as rest. If your Vanguard is in the Malworm state, call Soulless 1, stand this unit. The second ability is continuous. If your Vanguard is in the Malworm state, this unit gets 5k, active on the opponent's turn as well. So I don't know if you've gotten to the little spoiler alert to the video of me and Shane. Have you gotten to it? Have you seen it yet?
Not yet, no one bit.
Okay, so one of the things I realized that the auto does not say once per turn.
No.
So what I did was I had it in the front row because I didn't have anything else to call. I attack with Varga, kill off my, obviously in the Malworm state, kill off my front row, which this was in the front row at that time. Call it to the back row, attack with Varga to skin, skill, retire, back again, and then just call it to the back row again. I just didn't Soul Blast to restand the first time because there's a need to. I just did it for the second time. So technically it works, you know, because there's no once per turn. There's no, it's like you can keep bringing it back.
And not only that, if you have enough soul resources and placements, this can be behind a rear guard boosted. And then when you retire the board, you can put it behind the Vanguard boosted. You can basically start moving them around to decide which one you want to boost, depending on how many you have on board. Yeah,
because if you technically wanted to, like I said, it was a 13k front K, and I think it was Persona, right? So it was like a 23k swinger, call it behind the grade 2, you know, it's a booster there, or the grade 3 that doesn't retire, and then call again for the Vanguard. It's like if you have the soul, you have the capability, why not?
Exactly. Overall, a very simple effect, but really fucking good. Speaking of, people already probably know it. It makes sense with the last card we talked about, but let's just cover the new Varga. And holy shit, the text box.
The text box big. All right, so it is Varga's quote-unquote upgraded form. I'll say that. But it is unparalleled Draco's life. I that I don't know how to pronounce that. It's German something, I don't know. Varga Dragres Rakasha. So the first ability is Malworm. Auto. When this unit is placed by writing from a unit with Varga, and it's a different card name from this unit, or from a unit in the Malworm state, or from a unit in the Malworm state until the end of fight. From a unit in the Malworm state. Okay. This unit is a... Yeah, basically, if you write it from the old Varga, it becomes Malware.
Yeah.
And it gets Malworm. Yeah, it stays Malworm state until the end of the entire fight, so you don't have to worry about anything. And if a Persona Ride was not activated his turn, activate Persona Ride. So the moment you ride it into old Varga, you activate Persona Ride, which is just turns it into a turn 4 deck. That's all it is.
Yep.
The other ability, the main one, is Auto Vanguard. Once per turn, when this unit is in the Malworm state, attacks a Vanguard, retire all front row rear guards, and this unit gets plus 10k until the end of turn. At the end of that battle, cost Cannibals, retire all your back row rear guards, stand this unit, and it gets -2 drive until the end of turn. So funny enough, it gets a 10k and retire before having to pay the cost now. So that actually does work. It works out in case something happens. You're like, oh well, they just got to use the defensive. I don't have to waste a CB. So it's actually really nice. But the funny thing is, it has its own divine skill. It's not like Levidrus or Razio that we will see, which is still very similar to old Varga, which is divine skill, Auto Vanguard. At the end of the battle, this unit attacked. If this unit was stand by this unit's original auto ability this turn, cost Cannibals 1, stand this unit, and it gets +2 drive until the end of turn. The big difference is that if your opponent is at grade 3 or 4 damage, restriction is lifted.
Yeah, well, granted, it is a turn 4 deck now, which means by that point they should be a grade 3 or at least at 3 or 4 damage, which means there's no point to keep that restriction there anymore.
Which, I mean, to use this, I wouldn't necessarily call it a grade 4 deck now, but like, because OG Varga is still OG Varga.
Right.
Like, yeah, you can't discount that because it's still meta contender, but it's just, if you get to that point, there's no longer the having to mind play games of like, okay, I need to keep myself at 3 damage, so that's 1 less attack. It's going to have the full 3 attacks that's just going to be coming in and beating your face. But like you said, by the time you get to that, by the time you get to your turn 4, you should already be similarly good damage.
I will say this potentially opens a door to play the Dragon Empire OT again, but at the same time, timing is still very awkward when you hit it.
Because the way that works, you're gonna have to, you're gonna lose some kind of like benefit, because if you attack with this first, obviously you have to kind of hit your trigger and everything. It's weird. You kind of have to.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Like the old Varga had the problem with the Dragon Empire OT is the fact that you had to attack, counterblast, give it 10k, and then at the end of the battle it would have restood, and did the whole thing -2 drive. So if you hit the Dragon Empire OT during that battle, it just sucked because it basically didn't do anything. This one, technically, you can hit the Dragon Empire OT, stand the Vanguard, and then not counterblast 1 to stand it and -2 drive it, and just have another swing that has twin drive, but you're locked out of your divine skill because you never stood by this unit's auto ability, which means you can't hit hit overtrigger on the first 2 drive checks, and then divine skill after the second attack. It's still like the old Varga of, if you hit the overtrigger on the 3rd swing, then it'll attack a 4th time.
Oh, yeah. Like, it's still the same thing. Like I said, like, you're locking yourself out of something. You're taking a thing because the ability of the once per turn, you basically have to say, okay, I know I'm going to hit my OT in my first swing, so I'm not going to use a skill. And that's a huge ass gamble.
Exactly. That's still to say the same here, because it is once per turn. You can literally go swing, no effect, Oh, hit the OT, restand, swing, plus 10k, counter blast 1, restand, -2 drive, swing, yada yada yada.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's a fucking gamble. At least now, like before it was like hit OT, activate Vargas skill, hit OT, sucks. At least here you can activate Vargas skill, hit OT, and it still doesn't suck because you're not wasting a CB, you're still getting 4 drive checks, and all of that. But I'd still feel it not as good. Because at this point of the game, if you're on this Vanguard, you're turn 4, you Persona Road, you just swung with Vanguard and activated a skill. If you hit the OT, you're restanding getting another swing, sure, but it's turn 4. More than likely, you wanted to Divine Skill in that moment.
Yeah, because essentially it only puts you 2 attacks with 2 drive checks versus 3 attacks and 2 drive checks.
One more attack matters, especially from a Vanguard.
Yeah. Yeah, the main difference in that one is just, one's going to have 100 million and, one's just going to have a big ass number still.
We'll see what people cook at. There is one more thing I wanted to say about this deck, and my brain is forgot it for some reason. Swings, this, that, Persona Ride. What was it?
I
can't remember.
Really, the million things that you just take out the old grade 3s and just get 4 new Persona Rides rather than just 3.
Oh, that is what I wanted to remember. You got to be very careful because Divine Skills are still only 1 per fight, which means this one and the original Vargas Divine Skill are not like, oh, you can activate each one once per fight. No. You can only activate 1 Divine Skill per fight, which means if you're in a situation where you're gambling, I'm on old Varga. I could Divine hit skill here for a push and more cards, but then I don't get my second Divine skill from my malware Varga.
It just, it depends on the situation you're in and, what's going on. Which also kind of plays into a little bit of mind game. It's like, well, are they going to do it right now early or are they going to save it for, malware turn? Because sometimes you want to play it early to kind of push him as much as you can. When you get to this, well, bam.
Exactly. Yeah, that's been Varga. Now we got to look at the other side of the coin with the Razel stuff real quick. So first card we're going to cover real quick is Knight of Returning Spear Ainos. It's a grade 2 common that it literally just says auto rearguard. When your auto unit is placed on rearguard, this unit is on by the ability of your grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Razel in its card name. That unit gains 10k power until the end turn, barring a couple effects from Alt Mile.
Yeah. Simple, effective.
I mean, usually you are calling over stuff unless you're using the new grade 2 from a previous set that goes into Soul, yada yada yada. But if you don't have that and you are running this, it's like, hey, look, whatever I call down, it's going to gain 10k power. Oh, you left me at 0 damage because your damage is 9? Here's the triggers to hit you for a number.
Like I said, it's you don't have good targets or don't have expensive cards. Here you go. Here's a cheap one.
Speaking about more cheap ones, this one might be a little bit more used, maybe not, maybe yes. Reflective Dragon. It's a grade 1 rare. Auto back row rearguard. When your auto unit is placed on a rearguard in the same column as this unit by the ability of grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Razel in its card name, Soul Blast 1, and stand this unit. It's a constant booster.
It's a constant booster for it's a constant AK booster for Soul Blast, so it's not bad.
It's like you said, if you have the space for it and you don't want to pay extravagant amounts of money for a dog or painkillers or whatever else, you got this.
Yeah, it's there. It kind of reminds me, what is dog going for anyways?
Yeah, you can look up that while we talk about the other elephant in the room. So next to Razel, we actually got another triple rare for Keter. And from the anime, of course, like we mentioned, and like we talked about, and like we all know, Blast Dragon Gabuelius took shape as a grade 3 triple rare that has a very interesting ability that not only works also in Razel, but also in Liel Amora. Its abilities are auto when this unit is placed on rearguard. Soul Blast 1, look at the top card of your deck and put it on top or bottom of the deck. If you put it on the bottom of the deck, this unit gets power 5k until the end of turn. And its second ability is auto rearguard when this unit attacks if your damage zone has 4 or more cards. Until the end of that battle, this unit gets 5k, making it 18k, potentially 23 if your first skill put the card at the bottom. And then if this unit was placed on rearguard by the ability of your Vanguard Faded One in its card name this turn, and no drive checks were performed, but for the battle, your rearguards attack this turn, Counterblast 1, this unit gets power 10k, drive -1, instead of power 5k, and performs drive checks. So on its own, if it's called by Raziel's ability, it can be a 28k drive check rearguard.
This we found out this thing can actually be quite annoying with its ability to stack.
Oh yeah, because you more likely are going to be calling it during the battle phase, which means you are basically checking your top card if it's a trigger or not. If it's not, okay, go to bottom 5k. If it is, leave it on top. I'm going to hit some triggers.
And then with the divine skill for Raziel, you're obviously going to be able to put in check and try to get as much triggers as you can, considering you'll have 4 drive checks in that turn.
Pretty much.
Yeah, you'll see the
overall. Yeah, overall a really good card. I think I already used it in an Immortal live stream I was on. It showed its worth in that deck, so I just imagine how much it's going to show its worth in a Raziel deck. And then speaking of Raziel, just like, yes?
No, I'm saying just the 6-wing king.
Yeah, 6-wing king, yep. Just like the Emperor Lever Dress, Raziel basically got the same treatment of basically flavors of effects, because we have Faded King of Miracles, Raziel Vita. Of course, grade 3, we are not going to grade 4 territory just yet, but its abilities are Continuous Vanguard. This unit is also regarded as Faded One of Miracles, Raziel during your turn. This unit gets power 5k for each Faded One of Miracles Raziel in your soul and all of their divine skills, which means he alone does not have a divine skill.
That the 5k does start to stack up in the late stages of the game.
But just like Clever does, there is a way to put Raziel's into soul, not just by riding on top of them, and that is auto Vanguard. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, cost Counterblast 1, choose 2 cards from your drop with different grades and total grade less than or equal to the number of cards in your damage zone and call them to rearguard, just like the original Raziel. However, it continues to say, then put a grade 3 or greater card with Raziel in its card name from hand into soul. Choose a grade 3 or less card from your drop and call it to rearguard. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater, all of the units called by this effect get power 5k until the end of turn, which means Raziel, the new one, can potentially call 3 cards to the board off of 1 CB and 1 card out of hand. All of those cards are going to gain 5k if your opponent's a grade 3, and depending on what cards you call, you're going to plus like a motherfucker back.
Yeah, it I've seen it firsthand. It's quite scary.
So just doing normal Raziel stuff, right? You're at 3 damage. You're more than likely calling a column of the good grade 2 and the dog, which means both of those are going to plus you 1 card. Not to mention the grade 2 is going to stack your deck at the end of turn. That way, if you see a crit trigger on top, you're like, oh look, a heal. But well, at 3 damage is technically not a heal, but you know where I'm going with this. And then you're going to put a Raziel from hand into soul and then call a grade 3 or less. So if you have something in the front row already, you're just going to call another dog, potentially back row for another booster. Or where the obvious thing is, oh look, Gabuelius, Soul Blast 1, look at the top card. Hey look, this thing has drive checks now because it got called by a fucking Faded One ability.
The drive checks, I believe, if not I'm mistaken, are tied to 4 damage, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
So
if you're at 4 damage, you do the combo I mentioned. But if you're at 3, you just call whatever you fucking want.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, it's still a good amount of numbers. Still pretty good attackers. So it's still very much it creates 1 column and then you get an extra one for whatever you need.
So there's more than enough Soul Blast in this deck from every source possible. So building Soul is important, but my point is, damage design in this deck is not a viable strategy anymore, because if they have the necessary cards, they can have 1 damage, counterblast that 1 damage, call a starter and the dog in a column, and call let's say they can call a grade 3 from the effect to the board, and it doesn't have to be abilities. It can be the what's it called, Gigantic Masher or something like that.
Gigantic Crusher. It's that's something like that.
The guy that just gains 15k when it's called.
Yeah.
So so for 1 CB, they call a potential 28k attacker and then make a column. Let's say starter dog is 14, dog gains plus 5k makes it 19 on its own. Not to mention potentially going all the way up to 29 if they're a grade 3. 5 attacks, 1 CB, go burr.
Yeah, it's quite scary. And considering that you only really need 1, max 2 Gabuelius in your deck, because you're gonna want it to call it. You want it to drop zone as soon as possible to call it back room with the Razio skill. You have the space for a Gigantic Crusher anyway, so you want to run both? Have at it.
You can literally run both. Like, oh, I'm at 4 or less, Gigantic Crusher. Look, a big ass beat stick next to my column that I called because I could. Oh, I'm at 4 more, Gabuelius for more drive checks.
So like it proved itself quite well.
Not to mention, because this deck really just needs minimal cards. You need Raziels, you need the good grade 2 that stacks the deck, and then 2 Gabuelius, Gigantic Masher, that's not much, which means the rest of the deck can be Caterpile, which also really works well with Raziel and everything it does.
And then all of that, like if you don't want to run the personal booster because you discard a card from hand for its counter charge, you can run the grade 1 cat dog thing. Just put it behind your Vanguard, and as long as you have 1 CB open, you could just at the end of the battle retire it, and then you get your CB back. So just play around with 1 CB. Pretty
much 13k boost to the counter charges because you did skills.
Yeah, and then just call it back next turn with this, Razio skill or something else.
Pretty much. The card has, like, you can even just call it as an attacker. It's a 13k, potentially 18 if you use a skill, if you persona right. Like, it's got. They did good with Raziel.
It has a lot of tech options. You literally can build it however you want to.
All right. That's enough of those faded ones that everybody's already known about. That's been our 2 cents on them and how they work and their effects. The results have been already coming in, so both decks have been kind of showing up here and there. They've not been dominating the meta, thankfully, but they have been showing up and been doing really well in results.
Yes.
Gotta move on to promos. Which one did you like? You liked Luard more, didn't you?
Oh yeah, like I did not like Shiranui back in G. The only reason I picked up Shiranui because you never know, because I saw the potential of the strength, and as we see now, it is still a very strong deck. So but I didn't like Dominate. I didn't like Dominate. I was a anti-Dominate.
If Shiranui didn't have Dominate, it wouldn't be as strong as it is now.
Agreed. Which is why I said they shouldn't have brought it back at all in the first place. But that's just me. Anyways. We got promos. The order promos that what's his face, Messiah and Chronojet got.
Chronojet, yeah. So the name of this one is Journey to the Dragon. It's a grade 3 normal order, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think it's a set order. No, it's a normal order. Which the ability of it is Ritual 5. So you can only play this if you have Ritual 5. Play this with cost, Energy Blast 3,
if you have a Dragheart Luard crest, you get all of your units placed from the deck this turn get power plus 5k until the end of turn. So already right there, the fact that it's an energy blast kind of rubs some people the wrong way.
I feel I am confident to say that this is our first Stride deck set direct support energy card we've gotten.
Because the other ones, the one they got, I believe, are a counterblast because they didn't have the energy at that time.
At that time, didn't. And then in newer sets, we did get certain cards that did kind of support the Stride deck sets, but as in Night Rose and Hari also dropped in the energy era, but no energy costs or energy charges were in those cards for supports, nor in the Stride deck sets.
Yeah, but later on down the road, obviously they're going to get their grade 3 promo orders. Most likely are going to be their energy as well.
But don't forget, this does have a second ability.
Yeah, we'll get to the second ability, but the first every single time something's called gets 5k, that stacks. Oh, this is going to be so annoying. Anyways, but the second ability is auto. When this card is discarded from hand while paying for the cost of Stride, choose one of your Vanguards or Hearts, and until the end of turn, reduce the next counterblast cost you pay for that card's ability by 1. Which is...
original Lure did have counterblast 1 to call 2 cards, right? Retire 1, counterblast 1, call 2?
Yeah, whenever it's strode upon, you can retire CB1, retire something, call 2 more.
I will say for Lure, this one is kind of like the second effect makes sense because all of these orders for Stride deck sets are going to have that second effect. The Chronojet one had, the Messiah one had, this one Lure has, and the Esther Nui one is going to have one. More than likely down the road, whenever we get one for Hari and Night Rose, they're probably going to have the same thing as well. I will say for Luard only, this is only good the first time you Stride. Can you? I don't remember. What is the free ritual? You need to be a whole turn on Vanguard, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it is a start of right face skill. So yeah, this is only good the first time you Stride if you went second. If you went first, it's like, well, I'm just going to free Stride.
Because, and
on top of that, most players still run the ritual grade 3, which means they're going to just ditch and draw anyway. They rather prefer a ditch draw than free CB, maybe? I'll try that a little bit.
It depends how much CB you have at the end and how much you're planning to go off.
Yeah. Oh, God. I will say, okay, it held up. I don't see it be feasible ever because this would mean your opponent's at grade 3 and you are able to Stride. But for some reason, if you're at 0 damage, you can technically use this and either make a board or use Dragheart Lure? No, Drag Strider. No,
Drag Strider. Drag Driver?
No, Drag Strider is a big one. What's the first Stride?
Drag Driver.
Drag Driver, that's right. Yeah, so if you have no CB, or if you have one CB, you can ditch Disorder and then do both your Luard Heart skill as well as Drag Driver skill without having, resource worry.
It happens. Sometimes you heal too much, or they try to damage an eye or something. I don't know.
So what was that about stacking power, Hector?
Well, not stacking power, but, it gets massive power.
Oh, yeah.
Call something, they all get 5k, 5k, 5k.
God. It's not even like call 2 cards from Heart ability. They both gain 5k power. Oh, look at this one. This looks at top 2, calls a card. Hey, that gains 5k power. Oh, look, Drag Driver Luard attacks. That gains 5k power. Oh, look, Murfessa called something. That gains 5k power. Oh, look, I played an order. Let me call this card that goes Soul Blast 1. Look at top 5. Hey, get that K power.
It get very annoying very quickly.
It's not amazing, but I feel like it will potentially be put in Luar decks. Speaking of another card that's not amazing, but potentially going to get put in Shiranui decks, and I'll say this, yes, it's still good. Oh my God, our predictions we were really hoping it would not be something else. But we got Open O Forbidden Evil Eye. It's the Shiranui grade 3 normal order that says play this when Energy Blast 3. If you have a Demon's or Burrow Crest, whatever, choose a unit card with Stealth in its card name and without Sentinel from drop and call it to rearguard. And then of course the second ability, when it's discarded from hand for Stride, you can either make the Heart or the Stride cost 1 Counterblast less.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that call a unit with Stealth.
Originally, whenever we first got announcement of these, a lot of us, me and Alex and all that, were starting to speculate of, okay, cool. Messiahs was around the mechanic of lock. Chrono Jets was around the mechanic of GB being able to do your GB skills, do your time leap shenanigans while you're at grade 3 and you don't have GB skills unlocked, yada yada yada. So I was like, okay, it's trying to enable the key mechanics. What's Shiranui's key mechanic? Dominate. Fuck.
Dominate. We were late. Jesus, it's gonna be worse. But thankfully, it's not that.
It's amazing still, because recently Shiranui got another hit. Its main grade 2 restander got hit to 1, so you can only play one. So they have to play more of the other restanders, yada yada yada. But now at least if your main good restander dies, you can just play this and call it back, and it's like, hey, look, it's back.
I mean, now you actually have to find some way to get rid of it, like Blind Myers bind it, or something.
Hey man, whenever the season starts, I'm going to be playing bad. I got a set order that says Soul Blast 1. Hey, look at that thing, bind.
Yeah. Yeah, that is something. But it's still going to be very useful.
There's a lot of good stealth cards in Shiranui, especially Shenri. You can just go, oh, Energy Blast Key, call Shenri. Look, I played an order.
Yep. This is going to be so good in that deck.
Yes, it is. But these two promos are going to be part of the promo packs we're getting down the road. And Japan's potentially getting them already. We were going to get them soon. But they're not the only cards. They got 4 more promos that are themed interestingly. Because the rest of the promos, if my memory serves correctly, are all for collab, or quote-unquote collab supports. Because the first one we got is Variance Ray Dragon, and it's a support promo for Virgilla. Like Virgilla needed more promos to be put in the fucking deck. But it's a very good card because it's a grade 2 that says Act Drop Zone. If you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Virgilla in its card name, you bind this card, choose an Ezver on your rear guard, and then until the end of your opponent's next turn, that unit cannot be chosen by your opponent's card effects and gets power 5k, shield 5k, and then continues Guardian Circle. If you have a Vanguard Virgil in its card name, this unit gets power shield to 5k, making it 10k shield. So this card is never going to hit rear guard. It's always going to be used for guarding, and then from drop, you're just going to bind it to make your Ezver, or however you pronounce that, 5k bigger and 5k shield bigger. And Hector, if for a chance you don't know what Ezver or whatever it's called name, it's the
it's a 50k
mate unit.
Yeah, the mate unit. I remember Alex using that one. So make it
the card 20K, becomes a 20k base and 20k shield that you can't touch.
Making it a little bit more annoying.
A little is an understatement. I want to say a lot. Because you played Alden. You know the benefits of just having 20k interceptors constantly on board.
They're very nice. I mean, just having free defensives that you can't, halfway touch is very nice. And considering Alden already has a huge hand, this just makes it even easier.
I mean, technically, people can still swing into it, but they're swinging into a 20k base.
Yeah. And at that point, it's like, is it even worth it,
Exactly. So overall, a very cool support card for Virgilla. Hector, read the next one and guess who got support.
Okay, so it's a grade 1, Dancing Princess of the Gale, Eolia. Continuous rearguard. During the battle, this unit boosted if you have a grade 3 or Vanguard with Aizawa Emma, and his card name, this unit gets plus 5k. When this unit boosts a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Aizawa Emma's card name, this unit gets power 2k to the end of battle. And at the end of that battle, call split this unit into your soul, choose one of your Vanguards, and in turn it gets 5k. And if your opponent's bind zone has 10 more cards, or you persona by this term, this unit's drive cannot be discredited. Aizawa Emma, what is that?
You need a reminder?
Yeah, because I have no clue what the fuck that is. Oh, that bitch.
Uh-huh. We're
Has
getting
the-
promo support cards for all 3 VSPO collab decks.
That's what I was gonna say, the VSPO decks. I was like, have we confirmed us getting those?
No, which means this could be a soft confirmation that English will be seeing the VSPO collab in a future set. Because either we get the VSPO collab, and then whenever we get these promo packs on the English side, we get the promos for the VSPO decks, or they're gonna have to give us the Shiranui, Luard, and Virgilla promos some different way, or with 3 different promos in the promo packs that we are gonna be getting in that period of time.
I
Makes
highly
sense?
doubt. Yeah, I highly doubt, because I don't think they've done this. I'd highly doubt them changing what Japan gets in promos to what we get in promos, because usually we get the same thing, sometimes a little bit later.
Whenever it's these shop tournament promo packs with the reprints and 6 new promos that support decks, we've always gotten them, as well as shop tournament packs that basically had all the exact same things. The only difference in promos in that has been always the Core collabs and the magazine promos and all that, and they find ways to give us those as sneak peek promos, as box toppers, yada yada yada. But as far as tournament packs concerned, which this is, we've always gotten the exact same things. Okay, yeah, there is only one time, but that's only one card inside of one pack, not 3. The Favrilnir promo, we didn't get it later, but
Yeah, mainly because we didn't have the Favrilnir deck at the time.
I don't remember that promo pack or how it got distributed, but I guess so. That's only one card in one promo pack of one example. This is 3 cards, so unless they're removing 3 cards and replacing them with 3 other cards, only time will tell.
But it's actually might be nice to see the VSPO. I don't think they do much in the Japanese meta, do they?
Yes, they do. Yes, they do. They're dangerous. Benny is more dangerous than the other 2. A VSPO pure deck is decent. They are not amazing, but they are dangerous. Like, just take this one for example, right? The promo we're getting, it gives it more power, and then if you Persona Road, it basically makes it into an Overlord where you don't lose drive checks, and it's a card that says, stand this unit by discarding 1 card, it loses 1 drive, and it gains crit, which means it's got 20k, it's a twin drive, discard a card, twin drive with a crit.
Yeah, that is true. That's going to make it a little bit more threatening now.
And the whole deck's gimmick is binding your opponent's either rear guards or cards from their
Oh,
drop.
that's right. Yeah, I did say if there was a 10 or more. So, yeah. So
Not to mention VSPO, all of them have the support grade 2s that not only come out when you ride grade 3 from the ride line grade 2, but their also abilities have either Counterblast or Energy Blast 3 get the supporting grade 1 to just make a column that's usually in the 23 to 28 range that does something for the deck, as well as soul charges too.
Yeah.
By putting themselves into soul.
I wonder how
There's
this
potential.
will work. Yeah, I'm just wondering how this will work against Gandiva, because Gandiva binds its own stuff, and this one tries to bind it. Does that count the same thing as that same bind?
Gandiva binds face down, this just binds.
I'm saying, like, will that help this deck or no? Because it says bind.
Draw a card, choose one of your opponent's triggers, bind it. If you did not bind your opponent, choose 2 cards from the draw.
Well, I mean, it's not going to help. It's not going to help look at Diva in the sense it's not binding face down, but is it going to help this deck? Because it says, if bind.
If your opponent's bind zone has 10 or more cards, it does not specify face up or face down. So Diva technically helps this deck.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
There we go. Anyway, that was the first one. We have 2 more. Benny's card. That I particularly like Benny from aesthetic to the effects and all that. We got Mage of Crimson Light Rampart. It's a grade 2 that says auto when this unit is placed on rearguard. If you have a grade 3 or grade of anger with Yakumo Benny in its card name, you may soul charge one, which does help the deck a really lot. And then auto rearguard, when this unit attacks a grade 3 or grade of Vanguard, soul blast one VSPO, and this unit gets power 10k until the end of that battle. Now, you usually don't want to Soul Blast, but in Benny, you do want to Soul Blast specifically the plushie grade 1. That way you have them in drop to be able to call them again with your grade 2 supporting unit to make a column to do shenanigans. So this actually does help the deck a lot. Do you remember what Benny does?
Yeah, I remember seeing that it kept topping quite a bit for some events, and people were like, "What the hell is Benny?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, that thing."
It's basically a weird Barrow Magnus, which does effects depending on cards and soul, from drawing cards to gaining drive checks to gaining crits, and calling one unit out of soul, which usually is the support grade 2 that calls a grade 1 to behind it to make a 28 column that also puts itself to soul and draws a card, yada yada yada. So it's overall good in that aspect. But at the beginning of battle phase, for every 5 cards in the soul, it -5 your opponent's Vanguard. Which means the more cards you had in soul, the smaller your opponent's Vanguard became during the battle phase.
So it's everything Barrow Magnus wished it could have been.
It's Barrow Magnus combined with Velstra. Now imagine that.
That's actually pretty scary, not gonna lie.
Yeah, no shit. Speaking of, we got one more card because, VSP also got a lyrical collab.
Huh. Didn't realize they had VSPO at lyrical. Did pinch it. Well, no, anyways. It's a grade 2, Secret Garden, Onoskelis? Auto drop when you play in normal order from your hand. If you have a grade 3 or Vanguard with Shinomiya Runa, his card name, call Soulless 1 and call this card to the rear guard. Pretty nice, actually. Auto rear guard, rest this unit, choose one of your Vanguards, and it gets 5k until the end of turn, and then continuous. During your turn, if you have a grade 3 or greater Vanguard with Shinomiya Runa, its card name, this unit gets power fluffs 5k. If you play 2 or more order this turn, it gets 10k instead of 5k. I'm assuming Vanguard has an ability to stand rest units.
I honestly don't remember. The whole rest part does confuse me a little bit when reading. I feel like it's just a card that goes, okay, I'm getting this on board, I'm going to rest it to give my Vanguard 5k. I don't have to have it in the front row. If I have it in the front row, I'll just gain more. Because the whole Vanguard's ability is the fact that it can play 2 orders a turn, because it's an order-focused deck. It Soul Blasts 1 to look at 7 cards from top of the deck, choose a normal or from under, really put it in hand, and shuffle that. So it finds orders from top 7, and its main skill is, on attack, you choose the same number of rear guards as the number of orders you played from hand and return them to hand and call them to rear guard. So you can potentially bounce this instead of something else and then call it down. That could be the reason it rests itself. So you can rest it behind the Vanguard and bounce to the hand and call it as an attacker while you call the support grade 2 that calls the grade 1. There's potential.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah, but that rest of the unit is kind of weird.
I feel like it's a combo with the whole bounce of the hand and then call it down again, because you can rest it for free to give your Vanguard 5k more, and then you just bounce call it, and now you have a potential 20k body.
Yeah, and considering the continuous, it's just if you play 2 or more orders, and your opponent's grade 3, it gets 10k, so...
Which in that deck, almost always you will do.
Yeah, so it makes sense to have that.
Anyway, that's been it for the promos that we're going to be getting. What is this? Yeah, okay, this was incorrect stuff that I opened. All right.
Yeah, you don't need that.
So that's been it for the leaks. Like I said, Korokoro's revealing. We're not going to be covering it until we get proper confirmation that we might be getting it in English. There are some cool effects, but right now there's a bit too many of them, as well as we don't have any confirmation that we're ever going to be getting them in English. So with that said, we're going to move on and look to the future. Speaking of future, we have an English date for Generation Dragonesses.
Drag Genesis.
Thank you, Drag Genesis. Holy shit. We have set 6 confirmation English date for February 28th, the last day of the month. Wait, is that a leap year?
I think that is, isn't it?
Hold up. I might have been eating my words. Nope, it is not a leap year.
Oh, 29th is a leap year. Okay.
It is not a leap year, so this is the last day of the month.
But essentially, set 6, right?
Yeah, set 6 looks to be like the end all be all set, because we are getting so many goodies. We'll cover those in a bit. The English product schedule as of right now, as of what we know, is the fact that we're getting Destined Showdown. We got Destined Showdown a few days ago. The next thing we're getting is the Stardust Blade start deck. So basically the Virgilla start deck, as well as all of its promos that are good.
Which specifically is the grade 2 Regalis order.
As well as the grade 3 and the grade 2 combo, the mate unit.
Yeah. Mostly people care about the order because
it's
is
good, yeah.
A very generic. Yeah, it's a very generic.
And then December 13th, we're getting Seth 5, Omniscient Awakening. Yay! I get to play Odium.
You get to play Odium, and then we're going to see Raziel King, and then Levidress Emperor.
Exactly. And then going into the new year, we're getting Hari and Night Rose January 24th. And then, like we just said, set 6 in February 28th. So basically, every month has something, but major sets are about 2 months apart, which is honestly good.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Drag Genesis should be the last set right before Worlds. I think Worlds is going to be
Worlds,
because it's 2 months at the end of Yeah, so Worlds is May 2nd. So Drag Genesis right at the end of February, beginning of April. So April, March, and then literally a month away. March, April, right at the very beginning of May. So we'll probably get set 7 right after Worlds.
There's
I doubt they're going to put it on the same.
There's a small chance we might get set 7 right before Worlds. But we don't know because we don't have one semblance of an announcement for set 7, other than the fact that the anime season is showing some characters that are going to be in the new season, and we can slowly start predicting who might be in set 7 supported. As for Worlds, like we said, yes, the full official confirmation date is May 2nd, which does fall on a Friday. And it's back in Tokyo, Japan, in the Tokyo Ryutsu Center.
Which I think one of the things that most people are excited for that is the fact that we see Drajule's boy back.
I know, right?
And Youthberg. And I forgot Bob Sagara.
Yeah, we'll get to that. The only thing else I want to say about Worlds is I am making a big effort, regardless of topping for whatever Miracle Christmas Land reason they call me to announce, or not at all for any of those reasons. I will be in Japan for Worlds again. Whatever the reason may be, I am there.
Are you allowed to spectate or go into the event even though you're not playing?
Last time I did, I had to make a formal email asking them if I'm allowed to go in there to vlog, and they allowed it last time. So as long as I ahead of time ask them, we go through the logistics of it, I am allowed to go in there and record.
What about just for spectator viewership?
We do not know that yet. Worlds 2022 was in Los Angeles, and it had a spectating area which allowed fans to come in, spectate, buy products, use the vendors, talk to the participants on during the off times, and there was a spectator zone. 2023 Worlds in Japan last year did not have a spectating. Outside people could not enter. It was only invite only for the dinner as well as the event. Later in the night, whenever it was slowly winding down and there were less people and less participants and it was top 8 and all that, there were some people that started sneaking in because I feel like it was more lax. But for the most part, it was invite only, and you could not get in if you were just a normal spectator. Myself, like I mentioned, I emailed them ahead of time. I asked them. I got myself a press pass basically, and I documented the event and recorded it, and so that's why I was allowed in there regardless of getting an invite or not. And if I have to do that again this year, I will. If I get an invite from topping at a BCS, I'll go it that way. Whatever reason, I am there.
Pays to have YouTube connections.
Something like that. You guys are welcome to join me.
We're seriously thinking about doing it now.
Just 2 weeks.
Like you said, Magical Christmas, man. Somehow we get in the tops and we're all fucking going.
Exactly. And if not, you guys can still come. Just make a vacation out of it.
I fucking plan to. If I'm going for a fucking week there.
Oh, I'm going for minimum 2.
Go see Chris at his own place and everything.
Anyway, moving on the news section. As like Hector mentioned, the trailer did reveal that we're seeing our Juju anime boy back from his coma with some glowing eyes. So we might be seeing some Juju support. But we did get confirmation as well that we are getting, I'm pretty sure his name is Michiru, in Dear Days 2 as well. So almost 100% confirmed we were getting some proper Jejul support, because the last time we got Jejul support, aka Set 5, that was not proper. That was a spit in the face. Now we'll say, if whatever future Jejul support we get makes the Set 5 card really good in it, then I'll restate my statement. But as right now,
True. The other part of the Dear Days news, something that we just got confirmed for everything, is that you can actually port the cards that you have from Dear Days 1 into Dear Days 2.
Big move. Legit big move.
Because we were already confirmed that they were going to have everything from Set 3 and past as far as standard goes. So you don't have to regrind, but if obviously people grinded for the high rarity stuff or whatever, so you have that. So it's a little bit of a nice thing to see.
Exactly. It not only lets you have all the stuff you already had, but now you don't have to use all your resources that honestly are easy to get, but still use all your resources to get the old cards. Now you can focus on getting the resources for DZ cards, for cards that came out after Set 13 that were not in the first game, like some Strat Deck sets, some collabs, stuff like, not collabs, but some festival, triple drive, stuff like that. It's nice. It's basically a really good decision for Dear Days 2, next to everything else happening with Dear Days 2 that I'm not going to comment again on. A lot of other people have made those comments and they made really amazing points on them.
Yeah, we'll leave that dumpster fire.
Speaking of Set 6 again, I forgot to put that a little bit earlier. We already have confirmation that Set 6 is not only going to be introducing Chronos Command, Messiah support, but other stuff as well. From also the glitter stuff, everybody in glitter is going to be getting something in Set 6. It is still only the 5 nations, so not Michu. Michu's probably going to get something afterwards, but most of the other glitter cards are going to be getting support in this set. A couple of other things that we're getting, apparently we're getting energy markers of Chrono and Ibuki that are signed, and these look honestly really fucking good.
Yeah, because this is their manga illustrations, if I'm not mistaken. It's the 10th anniversary, if I'm not mistaken, for Vanguard G.
Exactly. And a lot of the other 10th anniversary stuff in this set that we already know about is also coming. So this is just another icing on the cake of everything else that's coming.
You gonna pull an Alex and get 10 of the Ibuki?
Fuck no, I have stopped rarity whoring. If I pull it, I pull it. If I don't, I am not mad about it. I would like to own at least one, I will say that, but I am not going out of my way to get it. But on
Fair
this
enough.
same train of stuff we're getting in set 6, the last Tuesday stream showed us a couple more things, and as far as encounters goes, these kind of made sense. We're getting not only the blood, but also Supreme Dragon Glory Maelstrom.
Glory Maelstrom. Which, if I'm not mistaken, I know Glory came before Ezel, but Rose of Vermilion that came before Ezel.
I got no clue. This is before my time. You are much closer to this than I am. Yes.
Oh, I'm talking about Encounter in the Encounter sets.
Oh, in the encounter sense? So Minerva, Maelstrom, and Silverthorn came together, and then Vermilion and Ezel came together inside of the Z encounter set, or Overdress D-era encounter sets. Then Silverthorn got her Venus Akir in the previous glitter set, and now the Blood and Maelstrom are getting their glitter versions, which means the only one that's not gotten a second version of the encounters is technically Dayusha that was introduced in the previous set, and Ezel, which more likely, if we ever get one, is going to be Blonde Ezel, or Platinum Ezel, sorry.
Yeah, Platinum Ezel. So the fact that Venus Lucaire came out first is kind of a slap in the face.
I honestly was hoping for something different. I still have this sticky note hanging here, which me and I speculated with, that has on it written Overlord and PBD. Because it would be time for them to get the third versions of something like whatever they have. Like, we got the N, so we probably get the X. And then for PBD, PBO, and then what was the third one?
It starts going to the Revenger series.
Still,
or Gust Blast.
The point was those two have not gotten any dedicated support in a while. So it was like, okay, they're probably going to potentially get new versions. No, we got Blood and Maelstrom, which is still good.
I mean, yeah, it was about time they needed. I mean, there was 4 possibilities. Maybe not Dayusha. Just, I feel like it's a little too early, but definitely the Blood.
There is potential that, let's see, this is set 6, so set 9 is going to introduce not only Blonde Ezel or Platinum Ezel, sorry, but also introduce like Dai Kaiser.
Yeah, I mean, by the time it's set 9 rolls around, if they do more, then yeah, definitely it'll be Blonde, Platinum Ezel, and god dang it, now you got me saying it, Platinum Ezel and Dai Kaiser.
Hell, I know everybody wants Platinum Ezel, but technically there's the in-between of Ravenhaired.
Yeah, true. I mean, what's Ravenhaired in the anime?
I got no clue. I'm going through V. In V, we got Blonde, and then Raven, and then Platinum. Anyway, one of the good reasons that I have Hector on this, because not only did he play Varga and Raziel, so he had the insight for those decks, I wanted to get his reaction on set 6 announcing 2 new mask units.
I want to say this. I called Gandiva and Solarian getting masks way long ago when we were saying like there's a possibility that, you know, since these two don't have a mask units, we're gonna need them because they printed all. Yeah, they came out like together in set 10, but whenever they what was it, set 11 or set 10? Whenever they came out, all the Dragon Tree Wretches.
Set 10. Set 9 was the Grade 1 Dragon Tree Wretches. Which means those were the first wave of mask units. Set 10 was the second wave of mask units with the Grade 2 Dragon Tree Wretches. Which means whenever we got Gandiva and Solarian, was like, why are we getting these 2 random boss units inside of set 10 that's like this mask thing, and then yada yada yada. And then we were like, okay, cool. So Brightgate's got mask, Star Chaos got mask, Dark State's got mask. So
Dark State's got a very specified mask. Like that is how you have to run it.
Exactly.
Gruzio.
So it's like, okay, these nations got masks, so we're missing a Keter, Lyrical, and Dragon Empire mask. So we started speculating who can get masks. Bastagar was thrown in there. Everybody was thinking Bastion because of the anime. So it's like, who can get mask? You know, Maggie got mask. Maybe Bastion. Who knows? Maybe Hexor mask. And then never did Dragon Empire or Keter. And everybody, we also thought it's like Solera and Gandiva. Maybe they made them so they can get masked. Oh, we were on the right track just way later.
Yeah, way later. But Hunter did point out that every single unit that has masked has a purple flame coming out of the eye, except for Gandiva here. He doesn't have the little purple flame. He has his little mask thing on his next to his eye.
True. I don't know what that exactly means, but true.
Yeah, we have no idea what the things, but it's still nice to see how Gandiva goes from like a red crimson to a blue fire, obviously blue fire being a lot more intense burning.
Exactly.
And then Solera just goes to, yes, sir, to your daughter calls me daddy.
Exactly that. I was going to say the exact same thing.
It goes from the light to the dark, but he does have the light still in the back.
I genuinely want to know what these guys are going to... Because you got to think, masks are... You still run the original, and you go into the mask. So you still have access to whatever the originals did. Which means with Soleron, you can technically activate the ability... Because it's at start of battle phase. It's right? No.
It's a start of battle phase. Yeah, it's a start of battle phase ability. So, I have to look it up again. Well, I don't know. None of his abilities are act during the main phase. They all have to do during the battle phase. So,
which makes
meaning his ability has to be still something in the battle phase or something that it's similar to his old ability.
I will say Gandiva in that case, because one of the things about mask units what made good mask decks good is the fact that you stayed on the original, did whatever its abilities might have been in main phase, and then went to mask and did mask stuff. Decks like Unica suffered in that because the original Unica did jack shit. So you wanted to go into mask as soon as possible just to do stuff. So Soleron sadly... Exactly, I'm Gruzio. It's like, I want to do something, and then I want to go into mask. And the same thing with Zork. I want to do something, and then go into mask. And the same thing was with Maggie, was kind of a similar boat of just get into mask as soon as possible. My original Maggie does absolutely nothing. Solera might be in the same boat for that. But Gandiva, on the other hand, oh look, right, Gandiva. Retire, bind, draw, do stuff. Now I'll go into mask.
Now, the biggest question, do you think they'll keep the plus 2k for every face down bind?
Okay, so...
Or do you think...
They're gonna
I think that's probably the biggest... That's the biggest question on everybody's mind.
So here's the two perspectives I have on that exact topic. They're either going to have to, because as much as I would like Gandiva to be eroded into 1k to front row per bind instead of 2k to front row from bind to make it fair, if they give it, they have to give it 2k still. Because otherwise, what's the point in going into mask if you're going to gain less power? On the other hand, if they do make it less power per bind, it could be fine because of two reasons. First one is whenever you do mask, you're more likely persona riding because your opponent's either a grade 3 or you've waited a turn. So you're already getting persona ride power to the front row because of the mask ability. And then two, whatever its new effect does might compensate not needing as much power, making it thus worth it going into a less power per bind versus more power per bind in the original skill.
So it is like that. Or they do the completely opposite route, give it too much power and saying, okay, Gandiva's is good, but it's not strong enough as mask Gandiva.
Dude, I'm gonna be so pissed because people can mass decks can anti-persona ride if they go second, which means if they give it more power per bind, that's just gonna be fucking annoying.
I mean, I think they are probably gonna have to, if they do that, they're gonna have to take away his inherent double crit.
I love the fact that we're ignoring Solaron because Gandiva is going to be a problem depending on how they make it. Because, Hector, can you remind me the recent proxy play we did and what card we were testing?
For Celeron?
For Gandiva.
Oh, the grade 1.
That does what exactly?
Whenever it's called by you, if you have a Vanguard with Scarlet Flame, which I'm assuming this thing is going to have Scarlet Flame in its name.
I'll get to that, yeah.
Yeah, Soul Blast 1, look at top 7, add any grade 3 card.
So,
you know, which the original...
New Gandiva. What exactly is the Mask of the Hydrogen again?
It is a grade 3 order card because we originally thought, oh, we have a way to search Best Harvest. Oh, now we have a secondary target to search besides just Best Harvest now.
I mean, you still run Best Harvest. You don't have to play the mask to use the mask is the fucking thing.
Mm-hmm. I mean...
I will say,
I think the only way, the only reason you're going to be playing the mask, depending on what the ability of this new one does, is either search it to Persona Ride or, you know, because still searching for Persona Rides, if I'm not mistaken, grade 3 mask adds any grade 3
that has
card,
Dragon
right?
Tree or mask in its card name. No. Yes.
Okay.
No. I don't remember. It's been a hot minute.
Yeah. I don't have it in front of me either. But yeah, I think it adds grade 3.
It does ask the masks because that's one of the way to find your mask units, but also adds Dragon Tree Wretches.
Okay, yeah. So you'll have ways, but yeah. It's a matter of what order you're going to be wanting to playing for. We really have to see what they support and what it does itself.
I mean,
and I'm hoping this is Solaron's big chance to kind of like,
if I remember correctly,
go into the spotlight.
Oh, okay, never mind. I honestly think that Gandiva is gonna have less power per bind. You know why?
Why?
Not only are you getting Persona Ride more consistently, potentially, don't forget you still have the Dragon Tree Wretches that make markers to give 5k to the things that are on the markers.
That is true.
And don't forget grade 1 Dragon Tree Wretch, if I'm not mistaken, says whenever you retire something, you can Soul Blast one and call a grade 1 or something from drop. Guess what Shenri is?
It's a grade 1.
And then you're more than likely still playing either the Mask or Best Harvest, or you're just retiring your opponent's board, which means Shenri's active.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Shenri's going to be active all the time now. As far as for the mask, yeah, it does choose one unit with Dragon Tree or Mask in its card name, and then add it to your hand.
There's way too many Dragon Tree Wretches. Oh, okay, I hit the correct one, but not the correct one. Draco? Yeah, Draco.
Yeah, that is
when your opponent's trigger is during your main phase. Yeah, when your opponent's trigger is retired during your main phase, Soul Blast will look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to one grade 1 unit card from them, then call it the trigger and shuffle your deck. Oh, look!
So it's a searcher too. It's a searcher too. I totally forgot about that. I have that too somewhere.
Yeah, it's like, oh, look, I retired something. Soul Blast one. Look at top. No. This is the best part. Activate Gandiva, right? Do shit. Call this, make a marker. Ride Mask. Put Gandiva on top. Do whatever effect it might have to retire, because more than likely it's going to have an effect to retire. Oh, look, it's something we got to retire. Soul Blast original Gandiva. Look at top 5, call a card. Use the new Gandiva's bind original Gandiva to do an effect skill.
Mm-hmm.
This is getting out of hand fast. I love how this is getting out of hand just for Gandiva, and we have not touched Solaron one bit.
Because Gandiva's always been a threat.
Watch it be the reverse. Watch Solaron become the threat after this set.
I wouldn't be opposed to it, and it's the thing about it is, like, it has good support. The problem is the support is very conflicting with what it's going to do.
I mean, Solaron, the only thing that it does is give you 1 extra attack and power to the board. So what is Mask going to do that thing is already doing?
I don't know, give power to every single thing that's called, and
Why don't you do something along the lines of look at top 3, call a card, put the other 2 on the top of the deck?
possibly. I mean, I wonder if it's still going to have the ability of stacking the deck or something. Reveal the top card if it's normal or not. It's going to have some kind of like that.
It has to. It honestly has to, because otherwise a lot of the supports is going to be dead.
Oh, you know what? You know what the ability might be for that, for soul blasting binding the grade 3 regular Solaron? It's either choosing something from your drop or hand and putting on top to kind of make it that.
Watch it
or either one of them, it gets effects.
Quote me now. Remove a Solaron from the game from out of soul, hand, or drop. Choose any unit card that does not have heal or over trigger put on the top of your deck.
That would make it.
Because you have to correctly call the top card. It doesn't have to always be a normal unit, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if you correctly called it as a trigger unit, you still get your shit. And get a trigger on top now.
And you get a trigger on top.
We'll see. This set is dropping in December. We are about to hit November, so more than likely we're going to start seeing these sets soon. We're 3 Korokoro bosses in, which means we have 2 Korokoro bosses left, which means we will be slowly starting to see set 6 very, very soon.
I believe we're getting Solaron next week.
Wait, are
we?
Actually, yeah, that's right.
Next Tuesday?
We have actually predictions for next week in the sense of what we're getting on Tuesday and all that stuff. Yeah, you're right. Let me check. So, the next Tuesday stream, yes, we have Solaron Mask already appearing, which means I gotta get off my ass and start posting videos. So we are getting Solaron Mask already, so we'll know in a couple of days exactly what this bastard does.
Mm-hmm.
As well as showcasing 4 more cards from Korokoro and showcasing 6 cards from Korokoro. So we're only getting Solaron Mask next week.
Yeah, and obviously they're going to have to get some kind of
and 4 more
double rare
cards
support. Oh, 4 more cards?
So Solaron showcasing 4 new cards, including support cards, and then from DZ Special Series, we're getting 6 cards, rare cards for the Korokoro deck. So we're getting 5 cards next week from set 6.
So we get Solaron, the triple rare, a double rare, probably a rare, and then a common.
Or maybe a whole new rare line. Doubt it, but yes. More likely what you just said. As for the next Thursday stream, it will be only Korokoro, showcasing 14 cards for Baby, including the ride line and triggers, and showcasing 3 rare cards from Korokoro. So the first inkling of set 6 is showing Tuesday, but that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
We have not been getting any cards of days of set 6 yet, but maybe we will start getting them soon.
So the first thing we're going to see from set 6 is Solaron Mask.
Which is going to set the bar.
Yep.
All right. I'm
really sad if it's bad.
Yeah, with all of that being said, we're going to end this episode here. Thank you very so much for watching or listening to episode 356 of VT. Is it 350? No, it's 250. Oh, God.
256.
Thank you. Man, when we get to 356, holy shit. Anyway, 256 of VT. If you liked the episode, please do like, share, turns, comment down below what you think Solaron, your girl calls me daddy, is going to do, and all of that. Oh, God, I feel dirty. If you like, subscribe, share, become a member for some awesome perks and all that. I'm gonna go take a shower. I've been Philip.
Yeah, it's a nice feeling, isn't it?
I know, right? We'll see you guys in the next one.
Bye.
Bye. Man, I made that joke and regretted it instantly.
It did, like the moment you said it.